You know what nobody tells you about modern life? It's not the big disasters that break people. It's the slow accumulation of small things you never learned how to handle. The ignored email, the conversation that went sideways, the moment you snapped at someone you love and immediately wished you hadn't. We're not bad at the big stuff. We're bad at the everyday stuff. And that gap right there is where most people quietly fall apart. But here's what I want to show you today. There's a way of thinking that was built specifically for that gap. Not for monks, not for philosophers locked in ivory towers, for regular people living regular lives, dealing with real pressure. It's called Stoicism. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 3 ideas from this philosophy that can actually change how you move through your day. Let's start here. Imagine you're at work. Your manager sends you feedback on something you put real effort into, and it's not good. It stings. You close the laptop, you sit with it, and for the next 2 hours, maybe the next 2 days, it's living rent-free in your head. Now, what do you do with that? Most people do one of 2 things. They either go looking for someone to validate how unfair it was, texting friends, replaying the moment out loud, searching for agreement. Or they go completely inward. They shut down, carry it, let it turn into something heavier than it ever needed to be. Neither of those things moves you forward. And deep down, you already know that. The problem isn't awareness. The problem is nobody ever gave you a better option. About 2,000 years ago, a man named Zeno of Citium stood in a public walkway in Athens and began teaching a philosophy that had never been heard quite like that before. His students spread it. A Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius made it personal, scrawling its principles into a private journal he never intended anyone to read. An enslaved man named Epictetus, who had every reason to collapse under his circumstances, used it to become one of the most respected thinkers in history. They called it Stoicism, and I want to be clear about what it is, because most people get this wrong. Stoicism is not being cold. It's not pretending nothing affects you. It's not the strong, silent type who just buries everything and acts like they're fine. It's something much harder and much more useful. It's about learning to respond to life instead of just reacting to it. The first idea is this: you have to separate what's yours from what isn't. Epictetus, the former slave, taught that everything in your life falls into one of 2 categories: what is within your power and what is not. Within your power, how you think, what you choose, how hard you try, what you value, how you treat people. Not within your power: the economy, traffic, your boss's mood, whether that person texts back, whether the flight is on time, whether the test results come back the way you hoped. Now here's where most people misread this. When they hear "let go of what you can't control," they hear "stop caring." And that's not it at all. What it actually means is this: stop putting your energy into the outcome and start putting it into the input. Because the input, your effort, your preparation, your mindset, that belongs to you completely. The outcome? It never did. Think about the last time anxiety kept you up at night. Not just a passing worry, real 3 a.m. mind won't shut off anxiety. What was it about? I'd guess it was something that hadn't happened yet, or something someone else might do, or something you had no real power over in that moment. You were spending real mental energy on something that was never in your hands to begin with. The Stoic move isn't to pretend that thing doesn't matter. It's to ask a different question. Not, how do I make this go the way I want? But rather, What is actually available to me right now? What can I do today, in this moment? And then do that, and then release the rest. Not because the rest doesn't matter, but because holding on to it is costing you everything and giving you absolutely nothing back. The second idea is the one most people resist the hardest. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men who ever lived, wrote something in his private journal that stopped me the first time I read it. He said, "The thing blocking your path is the path, not in spite of the obstacle, through it, because of it." We are wired, biologically, culturally, to treat difficulty as a signal to stop. Something goes wrong and the brain immediately starts sorting, avoid, escape, or complain. But the Stoics believed something different. They believed the friction wasn't separate from growth, it was the mechanism of growth. Think about anyone you've genuinely admired, not someone who had everything handed to them, someone who built something real, someone who went through something hard and came out different on the other side. Their story wasn't about how easy it was about what they decided to do when it got hard. You cannot develop patience in an environment that never frustrates you. You cannot build courage in a situation that never frightens you. That's not an opinion, that's just how human character works. The Stoics didn't celebrate pain for its own sake. They just refused to treat it as the enemy. So the next time something goes sideways, and it will, that's not pessimism, that's just honesty. Try shifting the question. Instead of "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this asking of me?" That single shift changes the entire frame. Suddenly you're not the victim of the situation, you're the person being tested by it. The third idea is the one I think is the most underrated, and it might also be the most practically useful thing you hear today. You are not your emotions. You are the one who notices them. The Stoics made a distinction that most modern psychology is only recently catching up to. They separated the initial hit, the jolt of emotion when something happens, from what you decide to do with it. Your heart rate jumps, your jaw tightens, heat moves into your chest. That's automatic. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do. The Stoics never said you shouldn't feel that. What they said was, between that feeling and your response, there is a gap. A fraction of a second, sometimes a full breath, sometimes longer if you've practiced. And in that gap, right there, lives every meaningful choice you'll ever make. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps and went on to reshape modern psychology, said almost the same thing, that between what happens to us and how we respond, there is a space, and in that space is our freedom. He never called himself a Stoic, but he understood something the Stoics had known for centuries. Most of us miss that gap entirely, not because we're weak, but because we were never taught to look for it. We react, we fire back, we say the thing we immediately regret. We make a decision from our worst self when our best self was right there, available, just one breath away. The practice here isn't suppression. It isn't building walls. It's more like becoming a witness to yourself. When something rises in you, frustration, defensiveness, jealousy, fear, you don't bury it. You see it, you name it, and then you ask one question. Is what I'm about to do actually who I'm trying to be? That question alone, carried with you through a regular Tuesday, will change more than any productivity app ever will. So, here's where we land. Separate what's yours from what isn't, and stop draining yourself over outcomes you never controlled. See your obstacles not as interruptions, but as the actual material your character is made from. And learn to find that pause, that small gap between what hits you and what you do next, because that gap is where your actual life is lived. These three ideas aren't complicated, but I won't pretend they're easy either.
Epictetus had every reason to let bitterness win. He didn't. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire and still found time to sit with his own failures quietly in a journal and work on himself. They weren't perfect, they weren't enlightened. They were people, just like you, who decided to take the practice seriously. That's what Stoicism actually is, not a philosophy for people who have it all figured out. A philosophy for people who are still in it, still making mistakes, still getting knocked around, and who want to handle it with a little more intention. That's the whole point. If this landed with you, stick around. We put out something new on Stoic Point every single day. See you tomorrow.